Hola, beautiful people. Welcome back to Awakity with Manasa, Season 1, Episode 4. I really hope you are enjoying this season so far. That being said, like I mentioned, we are continuing our series on young researchers and their field they are shaping. So today's conversation is about something most of us never even think about, which is how the medicine in your cabinet actually gets made, and whether that process has to be as harsh on the planet as it is currently right now, right? So my guest today is a dear friend of mine. She's a childhood friend of mine as well. She is Ragini, a young researcher and a PhD scholar working in Hyderabad Central University in the field of green chemistry and biocatalysis. Ragini, thank you so much for joining and very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mansa. Thank you for having me here. Honestly, this feels really special because we have known each other since childhood. So this doesn't feel like a formal interview. It moreover feels like one of our old conversations.
Lovely, lovely. Let's start a bit broader here. So, if you had to explain your field to someone who actually has never taken chemistry in their school days, so what would you actually say you work on?
Yeah, I would say my field is where biology and chemistry meet. We study enzymes, which are proteins found in all living organisms, and we use them as a tool to build useful molecules. In my case, we are interested in using enzymes to make the active ingredients that go into the medicines. In a simple way, the traditional chemistry uses very strong chemicals, high temperatures, high energy, intensive processes, whereas enzymes are nature's catalyst. They can carry out complex chemical reactions under very mild conditions and with a remarkable precision. So, my work is about learning from nature and using those biological tools to make medicine manufacturing cleaner, more efficient, and more sustainable.
Amazing, amazing. Now, where do you think this actually fits into the bigger picture for most of who don't realize chemistry is even involved in making medicine? Can you actually paint that picture to everyone who is listening to this podcast?
Yeah. If you know, like every medicine begins with a molecule.
Right.
And the part of the medicine that actually produces the therapeutic effect is called the active pharmaceutical ingredient or API. Before this tablet or a capsule reaches the pharmacy, the molecule has to be built through a series of chemical reactions. What we usually see is the final product. Behind it is a manufacturing process that can involve many step reactions, purification processes, and a lot of catalysts. So my field focuses on whether some of those steps can be carried out using enzymes instead of this more conventional chemical methods.
Amazing, amazing. It's very interesting to know how a molecular level has this sort of tendency to cure the diseases out there. And your specific interest is in doing that building processes using enzyme rather than just harsh chemicals. What first drew you towards this idea?
This is actually a funny story because I wasn't fascinated about the enzymes at first. If you remember, in our undergrad, we used to study a course on green chemistry.
Yep, I
Yeah.
do.
Um, that was my first exposure to the chemistry. The idea that it could be designed to be a cleaner and more environment friendly. But I still didn't think that this would become my research field. So I just decided to give it a try. I thought, let me spend some time in the lab before I decide whether this field is for me. And that's when everything changed. Like as I started learning the new techniques, working with the enzymes, and seeing how incredibly selective and efficient these enzymes are, I became genuinely fascinated. And what I loved was the enzymes can perform very complex reactions with amazing precision under mild conditions. And I felt like nature has already solved like many problems that chemists are still spending a lot of time trying to solve. So my interest didn't came from textbooks. It came from like more being in the lab and slowly understanding how elegant these biological systems are.
That is interesting. Like, I also believe that nature has so many solutions and resources that can solve people's problem out there. And it's amazing that Earth
Yeah.
gives us so much, and we should also protect it every now and then. So, out of everything that you could have studied, why this? Like, what pulled you specifically towards green chemistry and enzymes, or let's say biocatalysis in general?
Yeah, I think the seed was planted during our undergraduate green chemistry course. As you know, it has introduced to the idea that chemistry isn't only about making molecules, but it is also about how we make them and what impact those processes have on the environment. So
Mm.
initially, when I entered the research lab, I realized that enzymes could actually be part of the solution. They can often replace these harsh chemical processes and also reduce the waste protection and also improve the selectivity in the pharmaceutical synthesis. And you know what keep me motivated now is that this field combines the chemistry, biochemistry, and the sustainability. It's 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 fundamental science, right?
Yeah.
But it has also a very practical goal. It makes sense that making medicines, manufacturing more environment friendly. So I feel like it's a good field to study on.
That's interesting and good to know that that's your area of expertise. Now, was there any specific moment where this stopped being just as a subject and became more something to you, like, oh, this is where I could dedicate my years of research?
Initially, I was just trying to understand the field. Then I started enjoying the process of asking questions, designing experiments, and learning how enzymes work. The moment I realized that enzyme could be engineering, that we could study them and potentially improve them for a useful applications was particularly exciting. That's when I stopped feeling like it's just another research topic, and it's more like becoming like I genuinely wanted to pursue this.
Great, great, great to know that you had that moment where you realized that this is your field of expertise. Now, what's it actually like day to day working in this kind of a research? What does someone in your position spend their time doing?
Yeah, like a lot of people imagine research as a constant breakthroughs, but most of it's actually a problem solving. I spend
Yeah.
time reading publications, planning experiments, working in the laboratory, analyzing data, and many more. And the one thing research teaches you is patience. Experiments often fail. The protein don't always behave the way you expect it to be, and the progress can be very slow. But every experiment teaches you something, right? For me, the most rewarding part has been constantly learning new things and gradually understanding a system that once seemed impossible for me to understand.
That's amazing. And I think everyone who is actually looking for options out there in the field of academia, you have to be a bit prepared that no matter whether your hypothesis is leading you towards a positive or negative outcomes, it's fine. It's a process of continuous learning and
Yeah.
growth. You will come up with situations where things will be unexpected. And at the same time, in being in academia, you will develop the resilience and patience that is required in personal life as well as in the professional life as well. So it's good to be in the academia and it's good to have this kind of researchers going up. So now let's get into the heart of it. Traditionally, how are the ingredients in our medicines made and why has the process historically been so hard on the environment we are in right now?
Yeah, the traditional chemical synthesis has given us many life-saving medicines, and it has been incredibly important. But some manufacturing processes require toxic reagents and heavy metal catalysts, large amount of organic solvents, high temperatures, or high pressures. Those processes can generate hazardous waste and consume significant amount of energy. So the green chemistry doesn't actually say that this traditional chemistry is bad, but it asks whether we can achieve the same result in a cleaner and more sustainable way.
Amazing, amazing. So, where do enzymes come in actually? What can they do differently here?
As we know, that these enzymes are remarkable because they usually work under the very mild conditions, often around the room temperature and in water-based systems. And they don't always require the harsh reagents or extreme conditions, and some, uh, as that of some chemical synthesis processes too. And another major advantage is that the enzymes can often recognize exactly which molecule they should act on. Except for one small detail. Its three-dimensional shape is reversed like a left hand compared with the right hand. That tiny difference can matter enormously in medicine. Think of your left and right hands. They are mirror images of each other, but they are not interchangeable. A left hand doesn't fit neatly into a glove designed for the right hand. Biology is a three-dimensional. Two enzymes and receptors have specific shapes, and they can tell apart molecules that look almost identical on paper. So why does this precision matters for a medicine? Because molecules in our bodies interacts with enzymes, receptors and proteins constantly, and those interactions depend on shape. Getting the desired molecular form can help ensure the intended biological effect, while the other form may behave differently. Let's look at a few real molecules where this plays out. Adrenaline, also called epinephrine, is a real example of this. Its natural image form binds far more strongly to receptors in the body than the other form does. That's part of why medical protocols for emergencies like cardiac arrest or severe allergic reactions specify that exact natural form. Here is a real molecule that shows this in action. Lemonade is a natural compound found in citrus peel. Its two mirror image forms are chemically almost identical, but the R form is largely responsible for the smell of oranges, while the S form smells more like lemons. Same atoms, same connections, just a different three-dimensional arrangement. Another real example is ibuprofen, a common pain reliever. It is sold as a 50-50 mixture of two mirror images called racemic mixture. Only the S form actively relieves the pain and inflammation, while the R form is largely inactive on its own, though the body slowly converts some of it into active S form over the time. Controlling which form ends up in a medicine can directly affect how well and how consistently it works. One more real example shows just how far this can go. Dextromethorphan is a common cold suppressant, and its mirror image levomethotrexate share the same atom and same connections, but the dextromethorphan mainly acts on a different set of receptors involved in suppressing cough, while its mirror image acts strongly on opioid receptors and is handled as a tightly controlled medicine. Same molecule, mirror image are entirely different biological targets. But here is the challenge. Traditional chemical reactions don't always make just a version we want. Sometimes a reaction produces a mixture of different stereoisomers, and separating that mixture afterwards can require additional steps, energies, and resources. This is where enzymes become particularly interesting. Enzymes are biological catalysts, and their three-dimensional structures can be incredibly selective. Their active site can recognize particular molecular shape and orientations, which can sometimes help favor the formation of one stereochemical outcome over the other. Even a small improvement in selectivity matters when a process is repeated millions of times. Researchers are increasingly interested in manufacturing that uses resources more efficiently and generate less hazardous waste. And enzymes are being explored across industries because they can enable highly selective reactions under mild conditions.
Now, to make it a bit fun to our audience, or let's say the listeners, I would love to have a quick rapid fire. We just go by this or that from one of the two options.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let's begin. Enzymes or traditional chemical catalysts?
Obviously, enzymes, as I'm working
Lovely.
on enzymes. Yeah.
Makes sense. Green chemistry or biocatalysis?
I think they both go hand in hand. So
Mm.
I can't
Lab
choose.
work or data analysis?
Obviously, lab work.
I go for data analysis.
Nice.
Plant enzymes or microbial enzyme?
Plant enzymes.
Okay. Sustainability or efficiency?
Um, Efficiency through sustainability.
Great, great. Less waste or less energy?
I think both.
Okay. And chemistry or biology?
Biology.
Molecules or microorganisms?
Molecules.
Okay. Stereoselectivity or reaction speed?
Obviously, stereoselectivity. It's the most important thing in making
I get it.
drugs.
I get it. Okay. Nature's chemistry or human-made chemistry?
Always with the nature's chemistry.
I am with the same. Thank you so much, Ragini. This was such an eye-opening conversation. I don't think most of us will look at the medicine the same way again.
Yeah. Thank you, Mansa. This was really special, and I hope this conversation encourages people to look at science not just as something that happens in laboratories, but as something that can help build a cleaner and more sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely. So, guys, that's it for episode 4 of season 1, Awakity with Mansa. If today's conversation made you think differently about science behind everyday medicine, share it with someone who is kind of curious, just like we both. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care. Bye bye.
Share, like, and subscribe, please.